There it goes.
All right, guys, we're back. We've got a couple of new guests that are here joining us tonight. So this is part 3. We've broken this down into a couple of parts. So those of you that were watching the first portion, we're going to go ahead and move a little bit more into our the YouTube side. So we got a couple of guys on tonight to talk about what we've been doing so far up until this point in the season. We have a couple of guys, Eldridge Bell right now coming on from Let It Rip Sports, and the legend Raider John coming on from Confessions of a Raider Fan. We also have the Oakland Knight and myself, the Raider Pirate. So, guys, there's been a lot of articles that have been coming and going. This is obviously an off week, not a lot of stuff going on, but we wanted to bring in, some differing voices, some differing opinions so that we could talk about what you guys have seen and what's impressed you so much. We asked our last panel what they saw at this point in the season. Started off with some really exciting games. We started off with some really bad defenses, really good offenses, going for it, last minute field goals, incredible victories. And it's kind of settled down a little bit. Strong running game, good defense. Now we want to kind of ask you guys to kind of project forward. So we're going to ask you one at a time. What is it that you saw that impressed you the most up until this point? And then we'll come back around and ask you guys what you see moving forward. So, John, we'll go ahead and start with you because you're the first guy on my marquee. What have you seen up until this point that you would say has surprised you the most in this?
I see a resiliency in this team I haven't seen in forever. I mean, they're just. Honestly, for the most part, every time I watched this team back in the day, it was just give up in the fourth quarter. We'd get blown out, or we'd lose the lead, or we get just this anxiety in your chest where you're going to lose. This feeling that I got recently, actually, Knight actually got it too, was just you're calm. You're not worried because your team can make the plays to win this game. And I as a Raider fan, as a younger Raider fan than all you veterans out there, actually never really felt that. I've never really felt that. I mean, you go into the game thinking oh my God, we got this that we got to worry about. We got this we got to worry about. Now we go and now they got to worry about us. They got to worry about our running game. They got to worry about our passing game. They got to worry about things. And it's a sense of pride, I haven't felt in a long, long time about this team. I mean, the Hugh Jackson days were okay. And, when we went 8-8, those 2 years, that was good. But this is something else. This is something I've not felt in a long time, and I'm very excited about it. I think the number one thing for me, personally, is our running game is incredible, but our passing game is legit. And I am not I already talked to Knight about this. Me and him go back and forth about it. I'm an offensive guy. Knight is a defensive guy. We used to bicker back and forth about this. We literally had bets going on who we were going to draft and got in arguments after it. So I'm just happy that we have all this potential in the wide receiver position and the running back position. It's just amazing, man. I'm very excited about this. Our offensive line is killer, by the way. I just want to point that out.
All right, hang on 1 second, guys. We have a caller calling in. At this point from Pueblo, Colorado. Caller, you're on. Do you have a question for somebody on the panel, or do you have a statement that you just wanted to make?
I just had a statement.
Oh, something. Go ahead. Repeat that. You just got muted for some reason, but go ahead and repeat that.
No, I'm just saying I'm from Colorado, being a Raider. And this game was so telling. Being at a bar with a bunch of Raider fans and having them shut up because not only did they got beat, they got smacked in the mouth in front of America. They weren't in a game. We got blown on that long screen play, on that long throw. It would have been a total beatdown, 40-something-6. So I just wanted to make a comment. I'm proud of the Raiders. I'm proud of Reggie McKenzie. I'm proud of the draft process. I'm proud of the offensive line, and Derek Carr is a star.
All right, what's your name, man?
Yeah, buddy.
I like it.
I'm from an hour down Denver, so I get crap all the time, but I love my Raiders.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, brother, man. We appreciate you calling in and being part of this process. So we hope that you continue watching. And again, we have a show that we do daily on YouTube, The Will to Win. We do a daily 30-minute show, so we hope you go ahead and check that out. But we thank you so much for calling, brother, man.
Thanks for coming on, man.
All right. All right. So he brings up a good point there. And we'll kind of just shift a gear for a second here. There were those two big plays. There was the long touchdown throw. There was the almost touchdown throw, but then there was the long pass that they made where they did score the touchdown, and then that ridiculous screen pass. This could have been a huge blowout game. Eldridge, what are your thoughts about the defense, that we started out with at the beginning of the season, and what you saw in that Monday night game? The score was 30-20, but I think, like Raider John just said, I think we're all starting to kind of get comfortable with just kind of being in the lead and not necessarily needing to chase anybody or win it in the last 10 seconds. So Once again, the question is, what are your thoughts on this defense?
Honestly, when we played the Saints, I kind of gave him a pass because, it's Drew Brees. He's going to get his numbers. I obviously the newness of the season, we're like, oh yeah, the Raiders, we're gonna dominate. We got Bruce Irvin, we got Sean Smith, we got Reggie Nelson, and we got smoked. In terms of offensively, defensively, we got smoked. I'm not gonna lie. Brandon Cooks went to work. Drew Brees did what he did, and I was like, it's Drew Brees. We weren't gonna shut him down, And then we played the Falcons the next week, and then it was like, oh, okay, all right. Or not the next week, but a couple weeks later. And I was like, okay, maybe to change some things up. And it takes time for defenses to gel because Sean Smith is new, Reggie Nelson is new. Our linebackers in the first part of the season, they're not starting linebackers now because we didn't have Curry Riley. And I thought he's a huge addition. So I think we made strides. But one thing the Raiders don't get a lot of credit for is they get a lot of turnover. They give up a lot of yardage. But we get those drive stallers. Because I don't know if you guys saw the Jacksonville game where Blake Bortles was driving, David Emerson gets the interception in the end zone. They don't get any points off of that. So I think they get a lot of momentum-changing plays that they don't get credit for. So I think the defense is coming along. It's going to take obviously longer than the offense, but I think in around week 10, maybe week 11, you'll start to see a better defensive effort, a better consistent defensive effort. And I thought we saw signs of that against the Denver Broncos because, they did give up big plays. They gave up the 69-yard screen pass to Bibbs, I believe his name is. But just like Tommy Kelly said in years past, he said, you know what? We do good, and all of a sudden the big play happens and everything falls apart. That didn't happen in this game against Denver. We gave up the big play. The offense came out, did what they had to do, and then the defense came back and stopped them. So we were seeing things. And like Raider John said, resiliency. It takes heart to get punched in the mouth and come back and say you're not going to do it again. So I think we're trending upward. We'll be there.
All right, fantastic. All right, let's take a look at see if we got any comments coming through here from our comment section for you guys, and if we don't, we'll move on to the next question. I'm a Raider fan. I'm wondering, what do you think? What things we need to fix to stay in first place? So. And that is coming from Ruben Alanis Jr. He asked the question, what needs to be fixed to stay in first place? Now, we know right now the AFC West is one of the toughest divisions in football. Denver, we beat them, but we got to play them again in Denver coming up at the end of the season in December when it's going to be snowing in Mile High. Kansas City obviously beat us in that rain game. What do we have to do at this point? Obviously we have to beat, Kansas City and we have to maintain this record. But procedurally, what do you guys think? And we'll go down the list. We'll start with you, Knight, and then we'll move forward from there to John and then Eldridge. In your opinion, what is one thing that we have to do to stay in first place? Knight?
Well, I've been really impressed where the team has got to at this point. And when you look at us offensively, we're averaging 30 points a game. yeah, we're a little conservative at times, but we know how to turn it on. So I'm not really worried about our offense whatsoever. So I'm gonna take it to the defensive side of the ball. Now we're starting to come alive. We're starting to do a lot of good things. The one thing that I think that we need to focus on moving forward is our pass rush. I want our pass rush to become dominant, and I think we'll see that with the additions of Mario Edwards Jr. returning and potentially Alden Smith coming back on the team. You got the young kids in the middle, Latham. You got Ward, you got Calhoun. I think they're all coming alive with guys like Stacey McGee and D'Amico Autry kind of backing them up there. So I think our pass rush is what we need to really get going as we move into the second half of the season.
John?
Penalties need to stop. I mean, seriously. During that game, I screamed so loud, I think my voice box popped out, and it was ridiculous. That was the most frustrating game I've ever, watched. And I enjoyed it, and I was frustrated at the same time. I don't think it was so twisted. But I think the penalties, if we could keep that down like the way we played Denver, that was smart, straight up football, just smart football, the way we played. We did penalties. Yeah, we did have penalties, but when we did penalties, it wasn't really those dumb penalties that you should, like 12 men on the field, false starts. It was more of they grabbed him because he was going to make a touchdown if you didn't grab him, or they did a chip block and they got caught doing it in the backfield or something, or they did something like that to the point where it was more physical. Because one thing I noticed about this team is we are going to get penalties because we're a physical bunch. We're a physical team. So we're good to get penalties, but if we get it to maybe to that point where it's not in the teens, it ain't like 13 penalties, it ain't 14 penalties. Yes. I think we'll be legit. We'll be good. That 9 penalties, all right, fine. 10 penalties, kind of pushing it, but we're good. I think we just got to keep that down, and we'll be fine. Our pass defense is coming along slightly better. DJ Hayden, you're getting me frustrated as crap. Why didn't you play like this? For the last 3 years, I don't get it, but bravo to you. Yeah, that's pretty much what me, man. I think we should just keep down on the penalties and we'll be good.
All right, good defense. Cut down the penalties. Eldridge, your thoughts?
I love the DJ Hayden barb. I mean, because I've been supporting him for so long, so I feel frustration, man. I feel it. For me, honestly, I'm going to go special teams. We're not going to blow out every team as the year goes on. Sebastian Janikowski, he's got to step it up. I mean, but honestly, the game was out of hand. We controlled the game against the Broncos, but if the game had been closer, those 2 kicks that he missed would have been huge. And he has a big leg, but he hasn't been kicking consistently from the long distance. And he has the record for most 50-plus yard field goals made. So my thing is on him because when the game is close, those field goals matter, especially in playoffs. So every point matters. So I would say Sebastian Janikowski's got to get it together because this is, for so many years, he's been the only weapon we had. But now the team has a lot of potential. There are going to be some games down the road where the game's going to come on his leg, and he's got to be there for us.
Yeah, you got to give it. That's one thing I was thinking about. I rewatched the football game, and the guy on Denver's side, the kick returner on Denver's side kept coming out of the end zone, and our special teams was great. I mean, we've had such great special teams coverage. I think that's something like I said. Catching the ball at the 1 yard line, Marquette King being such a weapon, Marquette King, the punter, being responsible for one of our wins, like literally catching the botched punt and running for the first down. Sebastian Janikowski right now has been sort of that downer. And again, I think that's just part of the transition. I mean, he was the strongest part of our special teams, and now we're starting to see that we've got some dynamic guys that can return the ball. We've got a dynamic punter who's also athletic that now can do some sneaks and do some different kinds of things. You just have a much richer toolbox. And just like with Marcel Reese, a guy that was probably the best player on our team, but now all of a sudden can't even make the team, Sebastian Janikowski may unfortunately be at that point. And we don't know that. I mean, he's going to go till the end of the year. But in my opinion, I think if this special teams keeps coming and they keep playing week in and week out the way that they have been playing, we always talk about the three important parts, right? Offense and defense are easy. They're flashy. They're colorful. I mean, it's like, this is great. But special teams, if we can keep tackling well, keep pinning people inside the 20 and, coming with those field goals. I mean, I think, and I'll go again, I just want a yes or no at this point. Do you guys have faith in Sebastian Janikowski being another part of that solid kicking game if it's more than 50 yards, Knight?
Yes.
John?
No. Sorry. After missing like 2 in a row that last game, I got to say I don't feel confident in it. It's just me personally. I know he got a good track record, but we're not talking track record. We're talking right now. We're talking present, right here, right now. And I think if we're in the 40, yeah, of course. But if we're if it's a 50-yarder, maybe anything past the 50-yarder, I just don't feel confident anymore. I just don't, and that's just me, my personal opinion. I think he's still a good kicker. He probably could get lucky and get it, but I think it's kind of coming down to that where he's getting lucky on some of these, and it's just not accurate anymore and consistent.
Okay, Eldridge?
Yeah, I'm about to go with a no too. Yeah, that's I saw the field goals that he missed in the Tampa Bay game, which could have cost us in that game. But thankfully, we pulled that out. And then the Denver game as well, he missed a couple of field goals. Now, no, don't let me seem like he's just a sorry kicker, because a 50-yard field goal is not. That's not a layup. Okay, that's not like Blair Walsh style in the playoffs where you just miss an extra point, white left. Like, I mean, I'm not saying like that, but this is Sebastian Janikowski, like he's got a beautiful leg. Those are supposed to be like at least somewhat automatic for a guy at his level, It's like with Adam Vinatieri, Every time Adam Vinatieri comes out, everyone's like, oh God, don't even worry about freezing because he's automatic, because he's probably one of the best clutch kickers I've ever seen in my life, So I think we gotta get more. He's gotta be more consistent for those long field goals. I mean, inside the 45, automatic, which he should be. But the longer distance, around 45 plus, I don't know. It's 50-50 at this point in the season for me. So
Yeah, and I don't think, again, that we don't have to explain. We don't have to, the bottom line is, do you feel comfortable with it or don't you? And at this point, if it's longer than 50, I don't feel comfortable with it. Doesn't mean you can't make it. I just don't feel comfortable with it. So, that's my big question, is that portion of special teams, and that's a big portion. A lot of people were saying keep Tavecchio, Jano's, done or whatever. And I disagreed with that, but kind of seeing what's going on now, you just never know. Say that again, Eldridge?
Oh, I'm sorry. Kickers win games.
That's right. Kickers win, and particularly, Knight, I'm going to, jump to you for this. We talked about it, right? You want to bring your strong running game. You want to bring your good defense. You want to play field position. And what's the last thing you want? You want to be able to kick the ball, right? You don't want to turn over the ball at the 50-yard line, right? You want to think that more often than not, you're going to get those 3 points, even if, they stop you at the 35.
Absolutely. And I look at it when I said yes, that when I have confidence in Jano, you got to go off his track record. I mean, the guy's an historian, and he has the potential to be a Hall of Famer, depending if he can get into a big game and win one. When you look at his kicks in Tampa, the wind was so crazy there. That was more wind induced than anything else. So I'll give him credit for that. I mean, that was a windy place to kick a ball from 50 yards out. Last week, he flat out shanked it. There's no excuses. But you're talking about a guy that over his career has been consistently good from 50 yards out. And the reason why I still have confidence in it, my worry for Janikowski at this point in his career would be his leg strength at his age. And as you could see, the leg power's there. The correction of kicking it down the middle it's just a small adjustment. Maybe it's in his head. Everybody slumps. I think that he could rebound and start kicking it right down the middle again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like we said, we don't know. We've got some time yet in this season to kind of figure it out. But once again, when you need those points, I think that Jack Del Rio has sent out his punter, in a couple of situations where in previous years we certainly would have kicked the ball. And again, we watched Charlie Boots's video for Raider Life. Go check out Raider Life also here on Facebook. But we watched his video. They arrived in Tampa Bay, man, and they tried to shoot a video, and you couldn't hear anything. I mean, it sounded like there were 50-mile-an-hour winds over there. They're talking and then we go, like that. So imagine trying to kick a ball. And I said it before, throwing a ball in those conditions is a lot easier than trying to kick it. You get a spiral, it's aerodynamic. You use your full arm, twist of your body. The torque is there. Kicking, just a much different game. Okay, let's take a look real fast and see. We're going to go ahead and take a break real fast here on the Facebook side. We're going to go ahead and keep the YouTube side going. So those of you guys on Facebook, if you want to switch over to YouTube, you can go to YouTube and type in the W2W, the Will to Win, and you can continue watching us there. Again, we do a daily show, a 30-minute show that you guys can watch every day, Monday through Friday. In most instances, sometimes we have technical errors and difficulties, but you guys can follow us on over there and continue to watch the show. And we should be back here in about 15 minutes or so live on Facebook. All right, I just killed the live feed. You guys continue on. I shall be right back.
All right.
You're on, Mike.
I'm on. It's me. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and continue this conversation. We asked this question to the last panel, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Let's go ahead and start with John. John, our history together and you being an offensive guy and I'm a defensive guy, I'm going to throw you an offensive question because I like you like that, John. Okay, I'm going to throw you an offensive question. Bill Musgrave calls conservative plays, okay, or he has been. But in the last 2 weeks, starting in Tampa, heading into the national televised game, he really picked it up. He really opened up this offense. I'm under the impression that the scheme is based off the head coach Jack Del Rio's philosophy. Also, we tend to forget that this is only Carr's third year. But I think that now that we're in the halfway point, I really believe that they really have full trust in Derek Carr. I really think they're opening up the playbook a bit more. They understand that we got to use our tight ends and how to use our running backs. Do you think that this trend will continue as we move forward as far as how they use the running backs and the tight ends moving forward with Bill Musgrave?
As long as the line keeps performing like the way they did on Sunday night, yeah, definitely. I think they really showed something not only to the coaching, not only to the fans and to the worldwide audience, but to the coaching staff, that they can be that dominant of an offensive line and they can move the people out of the way. And Bill Musgrave, as far as I'm concerned, I am very frustrated with him sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, but I think that the fact that they are giving more trust to Derek Carr is what we are, getting. What we've been getting for the last few weeks is Derek Carr making changes at the line, Derek Carr making audibles. I think he's taking full control of this team, and he sees something and he's right. He's like he sees it and he's right half the time. Sometimes, don't get me wrong, he does make a bad decision, but for the most part, he got a high upside on making the decisions at the line. And I think, and like Musgrave, I give it up to Musgrave because he's given Carr the opportunity to do those kind of change up of plays and make those kind of decisions. And it's just excelling our team, to be honest with you. And by the way, I just want to get one more thing off my chest. I wanted to say this. Mm-hmm. I think we need a plaque that Bronco game. I think we should call it the IHOP game because there were pancakes everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere. There were pancakes all over the field, man. There were slimy fools everywhere. I love that game, man.
Nice. The IHOP game. IHOP game. Eldridge, what is your thoughts on Bill Musgrave utilizing the tight ends and the running backs moving forward?
I give Bill Musgrave's credit. Looking back on it, when he first got to the Raiders, I think he did a good job of protecting Carr and not put him in situations where he's going to fail and might mess up with his confidence. And this is the second year in the offense, and you're starting to see Musgraves and Derek Carr have some kind of synergy, They're like John said, he gives them the power to make audibles at the line, and you're just seeing the I guess the maturation of their relationship between offensive coordinator and quarterback. I will say sometimes Bill Musgrave tends to be conservative in the first half, but what he doesn't get enough credit for is he makes a lot of adjustments in the second half. And for the offense, for attacking defenses, that's huge because a lot of coaches don't have that ability to say, okay, we need to throw this playbook out and we're going as we see things. Okay, so let's do this. We're freestyling right now, and I think he's done a good job of making adjustments. As far as the tight end, I would like to see them more as the weather gets worse. I don't use more of the tight ends. Do more like New England does with the 2 tight end sets. Back when they had Hernandez and Gronk. Obviously, Walford would be the Gronk and Rivera will be the Hernandez because they're more closer in size. But if we can get Michael Rivera more involved on the outside and Crabtree and Seth Roberts. By the way, I was a huge fan of Seth Roberts when he was on the practice squad, so I'm glad he finally made it. But if we can get all those pieces together, man, this offense, it's going to be hard to stop this offense. And so hopefully they get the 2 tight end sets going a lot more. And I gotta give more credit. This is my assumption, but I think they're kind of saving Latavius Murray for the playoff push because he hasn't gotten a lot of carries in the first half of the season. Now you're starting to see him get more carries, and he got 120 yards and 3 touches. So I'm going to see more of a good job of kind of resting him up for the later part of the season. That's just my assumption. But I'm happy with Musgrave to answer your question. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah, we feel the same way. I said it earlier. When you listen to Jack Del Rio, especially before the Tampa game, when he talked about priority is protecting the football, it kind of gives you an idea why Bill Musgrave calls a game he calls and why Derek Carr, because Derek Carr came after him and said the same thing. My job is to protect the football. So it's a philosophy mixed in with the scheme, and you're starting to see it open up a little bit as they're all comfortable with each other. But the biggest thing that we've noticed over the last few weeks, 3 weeks to be exact, is this defense slightly every week getting better and better. John, what do you think? What is your anticipations? What are you expecting from Mario Edwards' return and the potential of Aldon Smith?
Mario Edwards is going to really solidify our run defense, I believe, because back last year, he was doing one heck of a job solidifying the run defense with him and Khalil Mack. Actually, Khalil Mack advanced his skills at run defense when Mario Edwards got introduced into the lineup, and it showed like more of an impact. Like it just showed. It popped off the screen. You could see Khalil Mack actually making plays that he didn't normally make when somebody else was in that lineup. And I think Mario Edwards is going to be a very, very good addition once he gets back.
Eldridge, your thoughts?
On the defense?
Yeah, as far as Mario Edwards Jr. returning and a potential return of Aldon Smith?
Honestly, I thought about this yesterday, actually, and I'm just like, those guys back. You can go to the Super Bowl. But that's like the fan in me, and just like, oh my God, all hail the Raiders, But in reality, I think it's going to take Aldon Smith a while to get back. I mean, the reports say he's in great shape, but as we all know, this being in shape, football shape. I think that it'll take him some time. I'm thinking by week 14, maybe week 15, we'll probably see Aldon Smith, who we used to know him as. Mario Edwards he got hit. I think it was in the preseason he got hurt with his hip. I'm more excited about him because
neck.
Huh?
It was his neck.
Oh, it was his neck? Oh, I thought it was his hip.
Yeah. That was last.
Okay, my fault. But I'm excited about him because he was a force in the middle, and you saw how when he pushed the pocket forward, quarterbacks were able to step up, and Khalil Mack just had easy play. So for at least in the game, Khalil Mack is almost unblockable because the quarterbacks can't step up. So they're forced to stay in that position and take the sack. So I'm excited about him. If he's come back fully healthy, man. I think that'll help the defensive line to get the pressure, and I think it'll help the cornerbacks out because they want to cover as long. So I think with that coming, with the Mario Edwards coming back and Alden Smith coming back, I think that could be. I think our defense could be actually, like, scary good because quarterbacks will have time. And if you notice, we're probably going to go against the Patriots if we have any success in the playoffs. The way you beat Tom Brady is you got to hit him. That's what the Giants did, and that's what the Denver Broncos did last year in the AFC championship game, AFC championship game. So you got to get pressure on them because if you allow them to get pressure, if you allow them to get time, Gronk's going to feast on everybody. I don't care who you got, So
Yeah.
you can't have one. You have to have Brady. The quarterback has to go down. He has to go down hard.
Pirate?
Yeah, no. Sorry, eating a little bit of ice over here. No, I agree with those points, completely. We've talked about it before. Once Mario Edwards Jr. comes back and you have Danico Autry, who can also play inside, that creates sort of that dime pressure package where you got two guys that can force the pocket, create pressure. And again, whether it's Ben Roethlisberger or whether it's Tom Brady, if you don't allow them to step into the pocket, they're not as effective. They're not going to be going to the outside. And if they do go to the outside, boom, you got Khalil Mack coming from one side, Irvin coming from the other side. And if we can get Alden Smith back, like I said, all we need him to do is go get the quarterback. Forget everything else. He needs to play maybe 10 snaps, right? And it's all 3rd and 12s or 3rd and 16s or, whatever it is. So once that happens and we get him back, like I said, right now we're creating a pocket because we've got big nose tackle style guys. Stacey McGee was doing a better job, but none of those guys combines the size, the speed, and the smarts of a Mario Edwards Jr. I mean, we were all scratching our heads 2 years ago or a year and a half ago when he got picked. And Mario, what are they doing? Like, why would they be picking this guy? There's all these other guys on the board. You know what? You take him out of this defense, and it's a totally different defense. I mean, it's a totally – so that guy to me is the MVP. If you're not going to give it to our new – linebacker, and we're going to see how the season plays out. But, you'd have to give it to a guy that if he's not in there, the defense is just not playing as well at all. So I think that this defense is going to get better, and they're going to get better soon.
No, I totally agree, and I believe that if we get Alden Smith back, let's say around the Buffalo game, even if he doesn't play in Buffalo by Carolina, he could be a 3rd down pass rusher coming off the backside of Bruce Irvin and creating either Cam Newton or what is it, Tyler? I think I can't remember the Buffalo quarterback's name, but he's going to cause them a lot of problems.
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, there you go. Tyrod Taylor. So, whether he's going after, Tyrod Taylor or Cam Newton, I believe, with Mario Edwards Jr. in the middle, helping with the run game, pushing the pocket forward, containing the inside, and it's going to start freeing up Mack. That's the one equation I keep forgetting out of this whole thing because that right side will be so dominant. Khalil Mack will finally get a lot more one-on-ones, and everything else should take over itself. So it's exciting to see that the defense at least has the opportunity. This is all speculation. Until we get these two cats back, we're going to have to wait it out and see where this all goes. But even without those guys right now, you see the defense at least improving week in and week out. So that's a positive as we move forward. All right, Pirate, you have any questions that you want to ask the panel?
No, I'm going to jump off here for a second.
Actually,
up right now.
What's that now? Well, it's almost 7. It's almost 7 o'clock. I could probably run this for another 6 minutes or so before we'll have to kill the feed at 7.
Yeah, no. Then I pretty much don't have anything else.
Okay. All right. Well, before we head out of here, Raider John, why don't you go ahead and give out your information, where they could find you at on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, what you got?
I want me up. Viewer discretion is advised. I curse a lot on my show, just FYI. I just want to let you know my YouTube name. My YouTube name is Raider John. You just find me, type in Raider John, it pops up. Find me on Twitter at Raider John 3. Find me on Instagram, Raider John 3, and that's pretty much it, man. Yeah.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Thank you for coming on. Eldridge, what you got? Where you got your YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, anything?
Yeah, YouTube channels, Literate Sports Show. I talk about a variety of sports topics, but I always have show love for my Raiders all day, every day. YouTube, I mean not YouTube, IG, Instagram, Bangarang. Hook reference if you for all your kids out there, and also Twitter is Eldridge Bell at Bangarang.
All right, man. Well, we would really appreciate you guys coming on. Any final words, Pirate? No. Okay. All right. So once again, we'd like to thank you guys for joining the show. This has been brought to you by the Ultimate Broadcast. For the Raider Pirate, I'm the Knight, Raider John, and Eldridge. We'll see you guys next time. Stay Raider strong.
Thanks.
All right, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.